At first, before we got married, they were good. But then once that ring got on my finger, that was the end of the end, I guess.
Yeah.
He controlled me from the beginning.
What kind of things did he control?
Who I talked to, what I did, where I went. Like when I went to the hospital and we had our first child, I had a black eye. And I told everyone I slipped in the snow because it was in '78 when we had them bad snows. So I said I slipped and hit the bumper. No one was the wiser. I always made excuses. He was good at it. He would like hit me where, you couldn't see him. And then I wouldn't go out of the house. Because before we had another one, he broke my nose and blacked my eyes, and I was a mess, and I just didn't go out of the house for 2 weeks. And then once I started to heal, then I'd go out. So he was smart on what he did and where he hit me, the way he treated me. Oh, he was the life of the party. No one could believe. They couldn't believe it. Because the way we portrayed ourselves out in public, no one could believe it. A lot of people still don't. They thought I made it all up. It was always my fault. I made him do it.
Did he say that to you?
All the time.
What kind of things did he say?
Well, every day he told me he was going to kill me the day this happened. Earlier in the day he said, I'll kill you someday. And I said, I know it. He had brainwashed me that if I ever called the police, he'd kill me. But I knew in the back of my head, no matter where I go, like now, no matter where I go, he'll find me. He won't let it lay. Because I was like his possession. And I couldn't talk to people when they'd come over, and then if I did, he'd get mad that I talked to him, and if I didn't, he'd get mad because I didn't talk to him. I couldn't win. Lots of times there didn't need to be a reason. He'd just say if I looked at him wrong, or,
What was your reaction the first time he hit you?
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he apologized, and I'd never been in a relationship, and my parents never fought. My brothers, I never seen that with their wives. So I was like, okay, one time. And then it was months before he did it again.
Did he say he never would do it again?
Oh, sure.
He was very,
very
sorry.
I'm sorry, brought the flowers and everything.
Did you believe him?
Yeah. Used to be. I'd do anything, try anything, wouldn't. He'd be amazed that I could climb up the side of a mountain, that I would swing out into the river on a rope, and then it just got to where now I don't have any self-esteem. I can't, the kids say, well, let's do that. No, I don't want to. He just, well, you're too stupid to do that. You did it wrong. You're supposed to cut grass up and down, not back and forth. And, if I said the sky was blue, he'd say it was red. He just constantly wanted to argue. If I said I was going to Kroger's, I better not go to Walmart.
Do you remember the first time you tried to tell someone what was going on? And who it was? Do you mind talking about that?
He'd hit me with a rope in the arm, and I had a big bruise. And I came to the sheriff's department, and they took pictures. And they said that they wouldn't, tell that I'd been there. And somehow somebody there told him. And trust me, I paid for that one. So I never told anyone again. It's not as easy as you think it is to just pick up and leave when you've been brainwashed that you're going to, be killed. Because I healed from the wounds and the mental and verbal, but you don't forget it. I thought it'd be better that I be there for them than him being there for them. So that's why I stuck it out. And why I did what I did that day, I'll never know.
Would you mind walking us through what happened that day?
The whole day? Well, he had to go to the VA, and he asked me to go get his clothes out of the dryer.
So he was a veteran? Okay.
And mind you, I did everything for him. I mean, except wipe his butt. We'll put that in there. I did everything. And I went to get his clothes, and gosh forbid, I went to the bathroom first. And he got mad and came up and got him out of the dryer. And he said, just don't go with me. You just stay here. And I said, oh, stop it. And he reached in the dryer and he said, you know, someday I'm going to kill you. And I said, I know it. You know, I heard it every day. And so we got dressed, we went to the VA, and the last week or two he was real clingy to me. You know, he'd want to lean on me. It was very strange what was going on. So we went to the VA and he seen the doctor and we left, and our granddaughter was across the street. And we had told her, you know, if you see the van, we're home. If not, go to Sarah's. And on the way home, he had to stop at McDonald's and he had to get donuts. And he's a diabetic, but, you know. And so then he's playing this game, you know, well, puts a CD in. Well, who sings this song? And I truly did not know who it was. You know. So he called me some choice names and he put in another one and I said who it was. And he put in another one and I said who it was. And he goes, are you in a hurry to get home? And I said, well, I want to try to get home before Kenzie gets off the bus. So we get home. The bus had already came by. And as he's getting out of the van, he says, go get Kenzie. And I said, well, I want to go in and go to the bathroom. So while I'm in there, and I come out to go get Kenzie, he hollers at me to call the VA to make sure that they had ordered his medicine. So I'm thinking, well, which do you want me to do? So I come in and I call and I go to get Kenzie, and I went out, and he said, well, just wait a minute. So I went outside and sat on the porch, and he said something. He called me, and I went to the door, and I walked away, and I said, what'd you say? And I turned around, and I stood there and watched him pull the knife, and went through the door. It came, hit me right here, and I just kind of looked down, and we had ducks, so I had a board across the porch, and I just stepped over, got in the car, and went over across the street. And by that, when I sat in the car, the knife came out, and I just kind of sat it there. And I went and knocked on the door, and Sarah said, come in. And my granddaughter was sitting there and kind of facing into the kitchen. And I said, come on, Kenzie. And she just kind of looked at me, and I said, Kenzie, come on. And the third time I said it even louder. And Sarah, she seen, you know, I was just covered in blood. She come running to me and she said, we got to get you out of here. And she slammed the front door and got the knife out of the front seat of my car, and off we went. Of course, he tried to lie his way out of it, that I tried to commit suicide, and he stopped me from, well, you know, and he was going to go to the cemetery and kill himself. And it was just a bunch of, you know, hocus pocus. But, you know, I stuck with my story through the whole thing. Like I say, why I left that day, I don't know. I don't know if my mom, Dad was saying, now's your chance, do it. I don't know. And that's the last I see of him, other than court.
Mm-hmm.
But there was always violence.
Mm-hmm.
He hit me in the back of the leg with a bat, and I almost lost my leg from it. Because it got infected, and I didn't know. And, oh, it'll be better tomorrow, it'll be better tomorrow. It didn't. You know, he stabbed me with scissors and forks, and shot at me, threw firewood at me, and cans of soup and vegetables. Cold water, hot water. It was basically whatever he could get his hands on. You know, and the day this happened, when he threw the knife, the last words he said to me, don't let the kids see this. Because I'd usually just clean up the mess, clean up my wound, and, you know, just be real quiet, quieter than usual. That's the last thing he said, don't let them see the mess. There is help out there. There's help, and there's good people that'll help you and stand behind you and walk you through the whole process. Because I know through the whole thing, Jessica, I know, they never thought I'd go through with it. They thought you know, oh, he's going to get to her, and because the first couple of times we went to court, he cried. And I know they thought I was gonna bolt, but I didn't. I stood strong.
What do you think gave you that strength?
I don't know. Maybe in my mind I'm free, you know, maybe I thought, oh, you're gonna get it now. There was a lot of things going through my mind. I was a basket case. I couldn't sleep. And now I'm on medication for sleeping and depression and stuff. So but you can get through it. You know, like I say, you can get through this. It's going to take time, but you can get through it. And I take it one day at a time. Some days I have good days and go back 3 days. But, you know, then the next day's better. Not every day's perfect. You know, and I don't think about it every day like I used to. It was always in my mind. And, I mean, I just think it happens everywhere. You know, it doesn't matter where you live or your race, your income. It's everywhere. And people, they just, I guess I was too ashamed to say anything about it because I thought maybe people would think, oh, well, what'd you do to make him do it? But there's no rhyme or reason why it happens, but it happens everywhere. I would say there's, you know, religious people doing it. And it doesn't matter. It's not a poor person, you know, because you're down on your luck. It happens to anybody.